You know what
you
I mean?
built a
Like,
community on just 3 guys that just love audio and love talking
That's
about
it.
it.
Say, for instance, we'll sit and knock out.
I'm getting my notepad out.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's fine. And this is no secret. You know, like I have no secret about it. Wait a minute. If I get my own studio, learn how to record and mix myself, this could be way cheaper, 1. And then 2, I could put out more music than anyone. Huh?
Can you give us exclusive?
Oh, so it's still in development. I'm not ready yet. You know, we got the EQ, we got the compressor. That's people that bought the plugin. And I just so happened to randomly see a ping, and I looked and I saw Jesse Ray Ernster buying the Rosetta EQ, and I was like, "Yo, what the heck? Like, have confidence in yourself. This is what you love. Let's make it better." You know what I mean?
I've noticed that you've started to put out a lot more like guest episodes. Has that been the priority?
It's not, I wouldn't say the priority, but it's such a good, like, how can I say? It's just a good moment, you know? So my belief with podcasting, are we starting, by the way?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
My belief, podcasting-wise is, you know, build the foundation first, right? And the reason why we didn't know guests at all for like a year is because we wanted people to be like, okay, this is their world. Here's the jokes that we make. Here's the environment first.
I have to say, and like, you know, we're going a little inside baseball now, and I love it. Like, but there's some other channels, you know, from back in the day called Beep Beep Beep, right? But it was like, who was the guest?
Right.
You know, so the numbers would be like big guest, and then it's like, oh, you know, not so big, and then it's like numbers like, you know, and like that.
Yeah.
And the thing that you were doing which was very, very impressive, was that you weren't dependent on the guest.
Right.
You know what I
You
mean?
built a
Like,
community on just 3 guys that just love audio and love talking
That's
about
it.
it.
Right.
Yeah,
And now when we bring a guest, now the guest is a part of our world. So the people are watching the guest, but they're also watching the guest to be like, oh, they're going to go into the audio nerds world. They're going to get a one gotta go. They're going to get, you know what I mean? Like, so they're going to get the audio journey question, you know? So it's like building the foundation of the brand of the podcast first, and then allowing people in the space. That's my belief with it. Some people are very guest-based, which is great also, but I think that longevity-wise, so you don't burn yourself out and always need to schedule a guest and all that other stuff, sometimes you could just kick it with the homies and just, that'll be it. Like, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it always looks like you're hanging out in a room, you know, like there's couches or whatever.
Right.
And if someone comes through that door and grabs a seat and joins the conversation, then it's calm.
It's
you know
calm.
what I mean?
Yeah, there's no right or wrong. It's just content, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do 30 minutes. Like sometimes my boys will be there, like, yo, let's turn on the cameras. Like, and I'll get episodes.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
working, but I'm having fun. You know what I mean? Like,
Is that how long you aim to go for? Like 30 minutes?
30 is my number right now.
Okay.
When the podcast starts to make more money, which we finally are starting to turn a profit with the podcast. That's a whole nother conversation as far as, you know, how to monetize something like this. It's finally starting to turn a profit. You can afford to make the episodes longer. So I know that sounds like, what do you mean? But every 30 minutes, the price goes up. Like as far as that podcast and stuff like that.
Okay, because you're doing them back to back to back on a day. Right.
So now if I'm doing, say for instance, we'll sit and knock out.
I'm getting my notepad out.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's fine. And this is no secret. You know, like I have no secret about it. Like we that too, right? We joke about it on the podcast all the time. Like we'll say something and we'll be like, we just dated this, but cool. And it's a joke. Like they know and we laugh. But 30 minutes, we can knock out, if we say give ourselves just 3 hours in 1 month, we can be like, okay, we can knock out 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But if we can't knock out 4-hour podcasts in a day, that's a lot, you know what I mean, to give. So until we can, you know, there's more money to be made, then we can start to kind of make it a little bit longer, but it costs more. The editors have to go through that. It just makes the cost go up every 30 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, it's talking about like obviously you giving away the gems, that's been something that I've always really appreciated from you. Even like me starting off, like right at the beginning, you were like,
oh yeah,
cool, mixed by Jocelin, check them out, you backed me, do you know what I mean? And
sure.
It's like you do that with so many people, and it's so, to me, it's like really important, and it really like, you are back in the community. It was like obvious, like it's like, oh, you get some people that are doing it and it's like, and they keep a distance.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep,
You're like, bro, cool. Yeah.
No.
Like, straight up. Because I told you the first time I met you, it was like NAM, and I was like, bro, I'm going to do what you're doing in the UK.
I said, yo, dude, as soon as you post it, I will repost it and I will back
and you
you.
did, yeah.
Didn't know you from a hole in the wall, but in the back of my mind, I said, well, I know how hard it is to get it off the ground in the first place.
Yeah.
So I was like, it takes a certain type of person to do that, one. And then two, I need people to understand, we are in a very niche community, right? We need more. of the real estate, of more podcasts, more voices, more opinions. Like that's needed in order to help the space grow. Yeah. So for me, it's like if I have built a platform that people trust, I want to be an aggregator of it. Like where I'm like, here's Mixed by Jocelin. Yo, did y'all know David Youngin is doing live streams? Here's Ken Lewis. No one knows this, and stuff casually, but maybe if you follow me in
you
passing,
got the platform because you've done that. You've put the time in. You know what I mean? You've grown it and it's created. That was like one of the questions actually that we were thinking was like, obviously you started your career as like a singer. Yeah. And like you got your first like exposure to like viral content was through singing. Like how did the Help Me Devvon brand like appear from that?
So this is great. You know, I've been in a lot of conversations and no one really asks that. What happened was, so obviously I have a beautiful singing career, right? Yeah. I do a lot of singing stuff like that for TV as well. I have a lot of like songwriting. Your
tunes
stuff.
Are dope.
Thank you very much. Yeah. People don't know that because if you follow me for Help Me Devvon, I keep it very, very separate. That's we can talk about that too. What I did was I had a lot of songs that would go viral, etc. And I said to myself, I know that there's someone out there that also mixes themselves. I know a lot of artists follow me. And I said, I think I can build a little bit more appreciation for songs I put out if I do like mixing breakdowns or show them like my session or how I did this effect. So
Your
I said,
vocal chain.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I'm gonna make a separate channel. I'm gonna call it Help Me Devvon. I was like, I'm just gonna try it. So I did like 6 videos, put it out there, right? Me breaking stuff down. Walked away. Didn't touch it for like 5 months. One day a kid comes up to me and he's like, yo, bro, I saw your video on the Switching Sides song. Thank you so much, that helped. And I said, what? So I went to the channel, 20,000 subscribers. I was like, what the heck? And then I said, oh, okay, let me just keep going. And the rest is kind of history of how everything flowed.
When was that?
Ooh, it was before the pandemic. It was like 2019, like somewhere in 2019, like the beginning of 2019 or something like that. It was like a year before the pandemic like kind of started.
Yeah. I found it funny because when we did our episode on Mixed Opinions, I posted it out and like obviously the majority of my friends aren't in the music world at all. Like, and they're like messaging me like, oh, that's the guy that does the singing videos. Yeah. And I'm like, that's Devvon, man. He's like a G in the audio game. Like,
thank you, man.
And like, but it was crazy because I was like, I only knew you from Help Me Devvon.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I said to you and I was like, Devvon's like a singer and he's got know, and like
a whole other
brand.
I keep them very, very separate because I enjoy people from that world discovering it that way. I think it builds like another genuine fan base where it's like, yo, this guy's not even like promoting his own music like on this side, like kind of sort of, you'll hear mixes and then I'm like, it's one of my own songs and I'll glaze right over it and I'll show you stuff. But I enjoy keeping them very separate, If you want to follow me over there, then go ahead. I'm not forcing it down. But, if you're here for technical stuff.
But how did it just outside of sort of YouTube and stuff like that, because you are ultra technical. And one of the things I complimented you, and it wasn't to, this is a very strange English expression, blow smoke up your ass.
We understand that.
Yeah. I don't know why anyone would want smoke blown up there. But anyway.
That's true.
It's
I never thought about that,
right? It's like, who amongst us doesn't want that?
Yeah.
But like, so... But I said to you, and I was like, out at NAM, and doing the engineers, and I was like, mate, your research is on point, man.
Thank you.
And it's like, I can see the care and attention to do something that's very difficult. You had quite a difficult panel. You had some beat makers, some producers they really want to be in the engine room. They're not trying to be up front.
Right.
And you were really getting the conversation going seamlessly. But some of the research, I was like, you would do that thing like, I know you do a technique where you kind of do da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, he's on it,
breaking
man.
it down.
Oh, yeah,
on it.
for sure.
Yeah.
First of all, I am a fan. I'm the kid, because I come from the era of no information, online and stuff about audio engineering. I had to go to traditional school, I had to go to Full Sail and stuff like that. So the minute, for instance, Dave Pensato started Into the Layer, that was like life-changing. Yeah. So things like, Pensato's place, that was life-changing information for free. So for me, I just come from that time, man, and I just have studied these people like night and day. Like any video, any trace of Serban on the internet, I found it. You know what I mean? Like any trace of Ali showing his kick and stuff. Like I I just follow these people. I have a...
And that was like gold dust back in the day.
That was.
Now it's like, okay, cool, we got loads.
We can right.
But then that Mixland thing, everyone was like, have you seen that Mixland? They got a Serban like preset on there.
Oh, Mixhead.
Or Mixhead. So, yeah.
Yeah, he helped with
So everyone was like, what?
Yeah, that's like, apparently that's like the one piece of outboard gear that he uses. Because we all hear that he's in the box, but apparently that's like the one thing on his mix bus he uses. But I heard he was a part of it. His preset in it is called The One. I think that's so cool. The One. And I was like, whoa.
You want a Grammy? You need to
put this preset on. The One. Yeah. Heck yeah.
What, when it comes to like both your brands, just going back on that topic a bit, what's like priority? Like, what, like now, because obviously they're two big established brands.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you know, on one channel there's $250,000, like another channel it's like, you know what I mean? It's you've got like huge fan bases, and they're obviously quite different fan bases, right? What is taking like more of your time, and like what are you putting more time into?
So what takes more of my time is Help Me Devvon.
Right.
But what is first and foremost is the singing, is my music career. Help Me Devvon takes a lot of my time because it is like a full-fledged business that has a lot of relationships and a lot of moving parts, as opposed to the music thing. I've been doing that for so long, it's so dialed in. Like literally I have no management. I have nothing. The only thing I have right now that I'm signed with is a publisher, which I've had for years, love them to death, at APCO. And then I have a distro label that I've done a deal with, and stuff like that. I used to be on major. I used to run that circuit, bro. I've done the radio thing. Like I've had like, on the music side, like I've been through it, as an independent artist. I've been through the time of streaming changing, where one album in a year, I knew I would make about 150 grand off of that one album, to now I'll probably make 10 grand off of that one album. Like I've been through that huge change, and I've been viral in every single era, like of just internet. Like I was the kid back in the day, because I'm older, if people don't know. I was the kid back in the day when it was like run around to the DJs and play your song. I was the guy saying, I'm gonna stop doing this. I'm just gonna focus on the internet. This is before Instagram. Like people thought I was crazy. I was like, I'm telling y'all, I think the internet, I can reach more people in one night than you can, like in a week. So that was it.
And how did you get so like because the reason the singing thing was surprising to me, knowing that you had this whole other career, this whole other lane, was because you just seemed like such a dialed in mix engineer. So how did you come up being a singer, being an independent artist, or at one point doing the major thing, and then like singers don't do that. Everyone knows it. Everyone hears like, oh yeah, Ariana Grande is like good on Pro Tools. It's like, but she ain't.
She didn't mix it. She didn't mix. Like she's not mixing these, Grammy records. I understand what you're saying.
It's not Serban on the board.
Right. Like that'd be crazy, right? Like she's like, I mixed all of that Justin Bieber stuff too. Freaking no. For me, it was just out of necessity. It was just cheaper. So growing up, I would have to pay for studio time. And I used to sit with the engineer and I used to watch him do stuff. And I started to realize that with different engineers, I was getting different quality. I'd be like, why does it sound better with this guy or girl? And this guy, it sounds terrible. So I started to really get into it. And then I said, wait a minute, if I get my own studio, learn how to record and mix myself, this could be way cheaper, one. And then two, I could put out more music than anyone. Back in the day, just the ability to play a song and put a song out was like, oh, I'm light years ahead. So that was my mindset. I was like, I'm gonna just kind of sit down. I was only 17 at the time. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out for myself, and then no one can beat me. Like I was like, I'm gonna be unstoppable if I figure it out.
That's when you went to school, right?
Yeah. So my first degree, I went to like a regular college first and got my degree in computer information systems, because I want to be a network engineer. That's a whole nother thing. But I was doing music on the campus. I was the music guy. I was a DJ, the campus DJ, and I had a studio, and I had a house off campus. So people will come to me. I created a business. People come to me to record. This is college. So if like your drunk friends come through, I'm like, yo, we can record a song, Devvon has a studio. So I was making money doing that. And that was my thing. I was making money doing that. But the thing that changed my whole life and said, okay, I need to do this forever, was there was a young man, rest his soul. He passed away on the campus, and the choir came to me on campus and said, we want to write a song for him. And I was like, cool. So I helped them write a song. We recorded it and everything, and we performed it. And I never forget, and it makes me emotional to this day. I'm standing there, like watching the song that I was a part of, like wrote, helped produce this stuff, and everybody's like emotional and everybody's crying. I'm like, holy shit.
It touched everyone,
I was like, I'm out. And I went to Full Sail. Like I left, I graduated and was like, I just want to do music. I don't want to do nothing else. Nothing gives me that feeling, like ever.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then you had, I remember from our last conversation, you made a friend, a baller friend.
Oh, I told you about that?
Yeah,
my God. I met this guy because to be honest, Full Sail is very expensive. So you'll find a lot of kids that are from rich families, and they're like, yeah, I think I want to do music. It's like, well, I know I'm here to do it because this wasn't a lot. Met one of these kids, and he wound up getting like this $3 million property. Like he had a studio already. He was a student, but he already had a $3 million property, this crazy studio, and he was like, yo, I want to sign you. Like he heard me freestyling like at a bonfire one day. It was a weird time. It was in Florida. It was weird times. I was freestyling at a bonfire, and he was like, I want to sign you. And I was like, cool. And his dad wound up being like one of the 50th richest men in his country or something like that. It was crazy. And I was signing him for like 2-3 years. And it was weird. It was a weird experience. But after that, I had to come back to New York. Things kind of fell through and the housing market crash started. And that's how I had to like pick my life. That was the bottom of the bottom. 2008, back home with mom.
Because you had this like little glimpse of
I kind of had things.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Like, this guy backing me. There's some dough here.
Right.
Studio.
Right.
Yeah.
And then housing market crash. Everybody had to leave the house. Everything went under, and it was like back to square one. Like,
I graduated 2008, and it was like, cool.
we graduated during the worst time of the era. That was the worst time to be a college grad.
My job that I had while I was a student, I was like, guess that's going to remain my job.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah.
I guess I'm
that's my job. I
wound up becoming a pawn. I have to say this pawn broker. My grandmother used to be like, pawn broker. They needed someone that knew audio equipment. So I was a pawn broker, kind of buying and selling audio gear at the pawn shop. Like that was my job for a while, and that's how I funded my whole operation until I bought my own studio.
That's how you got your studio, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wound up just saving up in my job. You know what I mean? And just kind of buying the equipment, and then bought an actual space. Went part-time at my job, then was able to go full-time. I was shooting videos for people, photography. I was doing
I remember you saying that. Yeah, because you started off like really even before you started tracking people, you were doing videos.
I was doing video.
Right?
I was shooting the music videos. There's so many like hood trap music videos from the Bronx that you'll see my name like directed by Devvon Terrell. Like you'll see a ton, like some popular ones too that you'll be like, yo, I remember this like viral stuff that I was shooting. I was just really a video director, and then I was also recording them. So I was trying to become a one-stop shop for all of these artists, like in New York City for a while.
Amazing. I was gonna say because like so you're from Brooklyn, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you still sort of feel kind of plugged into New York, you know? I mean, you like and kind of people in music in New York. Is that something you're conscious of and something that you've sort of part of your identity still? Or
yeah. You know, what's funny is a lot of people don't know what I am a part of in New York. Like I'm a part of a lot of really cool things. Like for instance, I don't know if y'all heard of On the Radar, platform. That's one of the. I'm a part of the label side of that. Right. So Gabe is one of my good friends. Obviously the Drake and Central C freestyle. I know you guys probably saw that across the pond.
Of course, yeah.
I was actually there that day in that room, and kind of I wanted them to use the Loughton mic for it because I love Loughton. Wow. Like, there's so many little things that people don't even know. Like, I'm kind of a part of and have just a lot of fun.
Did you help like start that?
So what I'll say is Gabe came to me and he was filming. He had a few episodes. He was filming. Like, it was his thing for years. That was his thing. I had a studio, a podcast studio in Brooklyn, and he was like, yo, I kind of want to, start doing my stuff there. I said, cool, let's do it. So it started to build there, and then eventually it really started to explode. I kept buying equipment. Green? It was, yes, it became green at my spot and everything. So we were building it, and I would buy. So he was like, I need this. I'm trying to figure out how to do it. So I would keep buying equipment and kind of keep trying to up it, because I was like, all right, there's something here. And eventually, bro, it became the biggest thing, hip hop platform on earth. And so I said, yo, bro, it's time to let's go build yours. So I just helped him build his studio. Then he brought me into the whole business. Shout out to him for that too, because he didn't have to. But he brought me into the whole fold, and I'm one of his partners on the entire thing, and that's it. Literally, the meeting I left is from him. I was with him. So
you know who Devvon's like? It's the Jamal Edwards of New York.
Mate, yeah, that's crazy.
I gotta check him out.
Oh, he's rest in peace. He passed away.
Okay.
But he was a very close friend of mine, and he put me on,
right?
And gave me so many opportunities as an engineer. But he started off he got this camera and he started filming all of the rap videos and putting them on YouTube. And he started SBTV, which is a
big platform,
huge. Now it's Grime Daily, sort of the top.
Yeah.
But SBTV was the first of its kind, and everyone was and he discovered he helped discover Ed Sheeran. And
he's kind of unique in that he's one of those people where everyone just has like a really
great story to tell.
He just helped me. He did
but
for
you
no reason.
You
just helped me.
The parallels are and anyone you meet will be like they could do a 10-minute speech about him.
Right.
How much they helped.
I love that.
Yeah, so like where my office is in UMG, there's a huge hand-painted mural of him.
Wow.
And like he hasn't got a connection with that label or anything. It's just like everyone knows that he was that guy.
Right. Wow, that's dope, man. I'm gonna make sure I get his name before I leave. I just want to
check him out, man.
Story,
honestly, because he in terms of like UK culture, like rap culture, he's like a cornerstone of that. Like,
straight up.
Like,
and it's easy to remember, like forget now. I mean,
just how much he
I've
did.
just revealed how I'm as old as you. You know, so,
I know. You said, I was like, same time, bro.
But there really wasn't. I mean, we're sort of UK because grime and then like road rap and stuff like that. There was just no foundation. And what would happen is like something like a type of music would be popping off, and then like you get radio stations, and it
was all pirate radio stations.
It wasn't like legal, right?
But stuff would just die off, so it'd be like, it's radar radio, it's gone.
The only thing,
like platforms would build and then they would just disappear.
Right.
It didn't.
The only thing that came like before that really had any legs was this thing called Lord of the Mics, which is really cool. And there's this rapper called Jammer, and it was in his like mum's basement, right? Like on the stairs, and everyone would have like these clash offs, and it was so aggressive.
Classic. Oh, it was aggressive.
No, like people will be getting like hurt in the videos, like in the original ones, and you can only get them on VC as well, like VCR.
Oh wow, VC. You say VCR, that's funny. We say VHS.
No, VHS.
Oh, VCR's
is the player.
Yeah, the player.
Okay. I'm super old.
See, I'm showing my age there a little bit.
I was like VHS. He said VCR. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. No, we had like DVDs and stuff like that. But there's like newer where I live. I have to remember these things like on podcasts, like don't reveal where you live and all this.
Be safe. Edit. We yell out edit.
But very near to where I live, shall I say? But there was a bit when it was like Getz and Wiley and everyone. There used to be a record shop. It's not there anymore. It's another place selling flat whites like everywhere.
It's always
in East London.
Yeah, I got you.
Expensive coffee.
Gentrified.
But those are like sort of iconic moments. But the thing is always in the UK. I mean, I don't think it's bad to say it. It was just like in a kind of America's shadow, really.
It was.
You just didn't have
it only feels like the last 5 years.
Oh yeah.
We've started to get our flowers a little bit in terms of like rap music.
You've actually influenced rap music. That's the crazy thing about it.
But I mean, if you could, like, if you were like growing up on the streets, when grime was really popping, it was such like an energy, like it was crazy. Like these sets, you'd go to these raves and stuff, and it was nothing like you've ever been to. It was like going to a boxing fight, like because it was just so aggressive, but like.
Yeah, I was too scared.
That's crazy.
Unmatched sort of like energy, so good. Like I remember it had like a resurgence, and they wanted to, this company hired me, and they're like, oh yeah, get all these cool grime guys down
together.
And they want to like do the thing, and they were like, oh, let's Rue Kid, a friend of mine, he's a producer. He has a radio
producer.
set, and he's like, oh, let's do like an old school clash at the studio, and I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna get the green light for that, right? But the guys there like ignorant to like what it was.
He's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, go
performance,
for it, man.
yeah,
Do
performance
it.
is cool.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Well, we gotta get some security. And like one like 5'9" security guy turned up, and I was like, guys, this is not gonna be running. Like people were stealing the paintings off the walls. It was mad, but it was so good. Like it was like you can still watch them online. You go like Kiss Christmas special.
Okay,
like, that's you really. And I think because New York obviously has such a rich history in like rap and stuff like that, and like it's so well documented. I'd love to have a little bit more.
I think because we have a different lane, because I think in the UK, the Jamaican influence is just so big.
Yes, it's heavy.
What I mean?
West India.
Yeah, so like sound system culture and stuff like that. I mean, Red Bull Music, which was like Music Academy, which was cool for a minute, and they did like a sound clash thing, and they had like 4 crews, so they had like ASAP. Boy Better Know, so Skepta and all those guys and a few others, and it was absolutely amazing, man. It was at like
that was a cool period.
And it was weird. It was like things like that would just seem to happen, and then they would just fizzle out.
Right.
It was like it's like there isn't a solid whole where you just think like New York even when everyone was listening to rappers from Atlanta, you're like, New York's still going to be New York.
At the end of the day.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For
It doesn't
sure.
matter,
Yeah,
you
that
know?
was an era.
London still doesn't even have it, even though we're now finally, as you said, like making it across the pond and like, you know, getting some influence. Like there's still no, like we're going through like an era now where it's not grime, it's not hip hop, it's drill.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like, you know, there's no
variation
there. Yeah,
right. There's no culture there. Like that's so interesting.
I think it's like, do you know what? Sometimes
they're not linking up. Like
they're not linking up, and like English, like we're not good at we're not naturally good at selling ourselves. Drill, to follow drill in London, to figure out the name of the rapper and the name of like his gang. There's just no way you can do it. You know, like where they have to write you know, brackets active gang because there's 3 other guys who are all called the same thing. They're all just called like L1, like you know what I mean?
That's interesting. Interesting. Like that's so foreign to us. Like I mean, and
they're all in balaclavas. You don't know anyone.
You don't know. A lot of on the radar, I get a lot. Anytime I see them in the balaclava, I'm like, oh, they must be from UK. Like they just covered up Quang face. Like there's a few of them, and I'm like, he must be from UK. As soon as I hear him rap, I'm like, oh yeah,
that's
UK.
because they're like actively like criminals.
Yes, for sure. There's a lot. Well, there's a lot going on. I even found out there was like some law where I remember one time one of our freestyles got like flagged in the UK because there's a law about not being able to speak on like
you can incriminate yourself.
Something crazy, something like that. And I was just like, whoa. Like we were all confused. Like we was like, wait, what? Like they couldn't talk about, you can't talk about somebody's past or something like that.
There's rappers that have gone to jail for like, and they've used what they've spoken about in their lyrics as like.
Well, what's his name? I mean, this is killing us. I mean, Stu, we might need you to help us here with the Google now. But who's the guy where he found the loophole where if he wore the mask, because he wasn't allowed to make music, and he's like the godfather of drill. And he wore the mask. LD, right? But what was his? We'll be back after these messages. LD. Yeah.
He got in trouble.
6'7". Well, he found this like weird loophole, right, where everyone
formerly known as Scrib.
Yeah, so I can't remember which way round it was. He was given a thing where basically he would go back to prison if he released music because his music was about what was going on.
And 6'7" was like 6'7" was one of the first drill groups to get picked up by Drake. Like Drake started like coming out
messing with them. Got you.
Yeah, and like LD was like, you know, Gigs jumped on the first 6'7" tunes.
I remember the Gigs.
And Gigs was kind of like the road rap guy. So between grime and drill, he was like the guy who just went, you know, beyond everything. You know what I mean? And like then jumping on a Drake album and you know what I mean?
It got a bit mad.
But you can see there's still that thing of like you need the American cosign or
interesting.
You know what I mean?
We still feel like if we wanna like if you want to make it, you need to have a cosign by an American.
By an American. That's interesting. I didn't know. You know, obviously, I'm just unbeknownst to me in the culture and stuff like that as far as the other side. But I mean, I'll be honest. You know, Americans, we've embraced y'all a lot. Like when it comes to like Central C, Dave. Oh my gosh, like we bumping Dave like out here now. There's a few artists that I can literally name now. Like back, that wasn't a thing. Like we didn't know
when I
nothing.
went to NAMM,
Gigs was the only one. I was like Gigs and Tinchy Strider. Like there was a few. I was into, you know, I was into music, so I was into Tayo Cruz before he even came to the States. Like those kind. I was watching. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I say now, I feel like it's way more of a household name in the States. Like Central C is huge here. Dave is getting huge here, if not probably bigger. You know what I mean? Like it's respectable, like super respectable. I respect that side.
They rap at a very different tone. So, like it is. Okay. It's like a slower tempo. So it's closer to your
kind of style of like how you feel.
You can sort of understand. There's a bit more. You can. There's not so heavy with the slang and Sench is like, you know, worked with a couple of amazing producers that we know, but you know, doing that thing where very different samples because the thing with drill was just like
heavy.
Yeah, it makes it nostalgic.
It's got to be heavy. Yeah, it's got to be dark. The lyrics have got to be this, and then it's like, and it's amazing. But I think there's a few artists that realize like this is a you're gonna hit a brick wall with this.
Interesting.
How far can you go with this?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, and I think that some of those artists that you mentioned that have kind of gone clear now, it's because they kind of realize they had to take a leap. you know, essentially be like, you know, jumping on a tune with kind of a poppy sample, you know what I mean? And jumping on with a singer.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like a 90s sample.
Gotcha.
English rap is kind of the closest I can think about is like, if you hear like back in the day, like Wu-Tang, and they talk about, you know, like people jumping on with like R&B singers.
Yeah.
You know,
and it was like, oh, what are you doing? That was people
UK
got
mentality
hypercritical.
was kind of that.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? You can't be trying to like talk about how you like a girl.
Right. Women.
Yeah. It won't run. Yeah.
That's hilarious. We in the streets, bro. That's I mean, that's an interesting take. You know, we went through that somewhat years ago, like where it was like the rappers, we had an era of rappers just talking to the ladies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the thing. We had, like, Fabulous. We had Biggie with, like, Juicy. Like, Biggie cracked that open for me as a kid, where it was just like, oh, this is, like, for everybody. Like, we just chilling. It wasn't, like, so, I don't want to say aggressive, but it felt like more like R&B.
It's a party record.
It wasn't gangster rap.
It wasn't gangster rap. It was more like R&B, like kind of feeling and stuff. And a lot of hip hop became that at one point. Like some of the big songs, like
obviously because it was like the labels then look at it and go, cool.
There's money to be made.
Just pump this now.
For sure.
It's the vibe, but they're not talking about madness. Like we can like
they feel it's more maybe they feel like it can reach a wider audience. It's more marketable. For sure. Yeah.
Talking of,
I was going to switch lanes totally.
Yeah,
I just realized like
we
went on a tangent about UK rap.
When you with podcasters, it's just how it goes, bro.
That's how it goes.
But I mean, we got to talk about you know, your plugin, man. Like your
that's literally what I was about to say.
Oh, that's funny.
Crazy singer, you know, like engineer, YouTuber, and now you're making plugins.
That honestly, that's out of everything, that's probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. The hardest, because it's a mystery. And I say it's a mystery because one, you have to hire a coder, right? Well, first off, what's your idea, right? And a sea of plugins, like, what's your idea? My philosophy and what I'm doing with my, like, plugin side is just trying to do the obvious things that it's like, why didn't we think of that? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say to myself, oh, I'm trying to go at waves and I'm trying to beat UAD and the better plugins. They have teams and teams of plugins developers that have been doing it for years with them. So what I said to myself is, okay, I'm a little guy. I said, what can I do to kind of like help engineers and fill a void for them? So I started coming up with concepts, and I'm working on a few. I'm working on another one now to release our third one. But it is a difficult process. And I'm helping a few people right now through it. Huh?
Can you give us exclusive?
So it's still in development. I'm not ready yet. You know, we got the EQ, we got the compressor. That's our Rosetta line. But I'm working on a whole new line coming soon. So
maybe an effects kind of vibe, or
you know.
Okay, we'll chill.
It'll come. I got you. We'll do it again because I feel like I kind of brought it up with someone on a podcast. I like to talk about it on a podcast when I crack it open.
You just brought out the compressor when we last spoke.
Yes. So I brought the compressor.
It was like fresh.
It was so new. So I see it like this. I'm building a few at once. So I'm trying to decide, okay, I'm going to go with that. So I don't want to say, oh, I'm building this. And it's like, that one, I didn't like how that one came out. So it's a grueling process and a lot of legalities and a lot of like, how do you get AAX compatibility? Like that's a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? So there's like so much. I need to go to Windows and get like a publisher, bro. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Like,
the Windows v Mac thing, man. Like we do stuff and people go like, why is it Mac only? And I'm like, well, you make it for Windows then,
dude. And you see the first thing I said,
so easy.
Yes, you see the first thing I said was Windows.
17 different audio drivers for Windows.
Windows is way harder to like just.
I would have thought it would have been the opposite.
I know
because Mac have always put this like, Mac, we're the top tier. Like.
Mac, you got core audio.
Yes.
Right. Core audio. So anything you do, this is how core audio handles audio. This is how it works. And there's one operating system and this is how it works.
Right.
Deal with Windows.
It is a Wild West.
WYSIWYG versus, Wasabi, versus, all the different types.
ACOs. It's just a Wild West, and the way. So it's like, say like this, you ever on a PC install something and it's like, this is from an unknown publisher? In order for you to not get that message when they installing your product so it doesn't feel like a virus, literally I had to pay for that.
really?
like thousands of dollars.
Oh, wow.
Just to be a licensed publisher in the Windows.
Yeah, because it does put you off.
Yes, right.
It
You'd
gives
be
you
like, what
like
is
a
this?
feeling.
So even that, bro, I had to like pay thousands of dollars just to like get over that hump. And I'm just me.
I feel like audio guys, they don't care as much about stuff like that though, because they tend to know.
Oh yeah, you know what you're doing.
You obviously care so much about your product. You're like, I need it to be packaged.
Yeah.
Like all the bells, all the whistles.
Right. I don't want you to feel like, oh, this is just Devvon. I want you to feel like, oh, he really like created a brand. Yeah, it's the smallest team. I probably could win an award for like the smallest like plug-in team on earth.
Well, I don't know. We just sat down with Ryan, and Ryan seems like his
Schwab?
guys. Yeah.
Oh, that's my guy.
Yeah.
He's like me.
Yeah,
where he got. That's my developer. That's my graphics person, and then marketing. It's like that's how nimble we have to be. Yes, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, it was fun talking to him about it, and it was like kind of got like a whole new perspective on like what it takes. And I think it's so cool. Like as I said to him, that you independent, and you're keeping it independent.
Yes,
and like you keep the control, and it just feels so much more like, as a consumer, like it's cared for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like even like to the way we spoke about it before, how you, and I think this is a big part of like why the plugins are so great. Design element and the wording, like the wording of the tools is so key.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the same thing. But you're just what you're doing is you're giving everyone a light bulb moment.
Yes.
They download the plugin and they're like, oh, what the hell is compression? And it's like, you explain it in the way that they can understand.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like tight, instead of attack, fast or slow, I say attack is tight or open.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I'm starting to talk to more colleges and universities and stuff for their, for teaching kids audio, because they're like, yo, even I get this, like as far as everything is concerned. So that, even just changing the word, the threshold word to just more effect, no effect. Just simple things like, okay, if I was brand new to this, like, what is threshold? It's like, do you want more compression or less? So I said, okay, more effect or less effect. Yeah. Just those simple things, like, just in a GUI, like, people just get it. You know what I mean? Like,
but you've done it in a way that it doesn't feel dumbed down.
Right.
Like, because there's a thin line there.
Yes.
Like, where you can, like, okay, you're sort of spoon feeding us this.
And being ridiculous.
Like,
it can get a little ridiculous.
But it's like, you're just using studio language.
Right.
Because we talk, like, pro engineers, they're not saying, oh, that's got a fast attack. It's tight.
Yeah,
like that's what they're saying.
That's
it's
how
tight
we talk.
Compression. Yeah, that's how we talk.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, it was like right there. I was like, yes, let's put it on the actual GUI. If we're talking like this, let me see it. So when I'm like, oh, this sounds too tight, and I see an open button, I'm like, well, let me do that.
Yeah.
So it kind of changes my whole workflow, and I use it a lot. I use the compressor a lot for percussions. And then my boy put me on the other day. He was like, are you using your EQ on kicks? And I was like, oh my God. I was never using it on kicks, but bro, that is like my primary thing I use it on now. Just kicks.
Really?
Yes, bro. Like for kicks, like if you try it out for kicks, like check it out.
It's got a good like band for like punch and stuff.
It's the curves that I chose are some of my favorite curves.
Right.
Because that's really what it is. It's like the Rosetta EQ is a very like opinionated, hey, I like these curves to accomplish these sounds. Yeah. So byte, for instance, like the byte knob is a combination of like 1K, 4K, and like some other, like 3 bands that I'm boosting, and I like it. And some people are like, yo, it sounds like byte. What frequency? I'm boosting a few in a different spots at different dBs in one knob.
Okay, so it's not just a broad band like for each one.
No,
okay.
Some have multiple that it's actually affecting.
Well, then it's like, it's going past like just being an EQ.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're like a tone maker. Because
it has a character to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is one of those things which is like everything is like iconic gear is like, it's not, it's adding something or it has a character to it. It has a sound to it,
right.
And that's how you become stand out.
Yeah.
Right? Is like, it's
special.
Like, yeah. Track on an Eve, like mix on an SSL. It sounds a certain way.
Yeah.
You want to add that sound.
Like I'll say, if we look at a pull tech, right? And we say, okay, it's just an EQ. But really, as soon as I put that pull tech on, we feel like something is EQ'd a bit different. Like it feels warmer, quote unquote.
Or it's like pulling something out.
Pulling something out, and you didn't touch anything, but it's already invoking a sound. So to me, it's kind of like that same philosophy with EQ, where I say to myself, okay, I want more bite. What does more bite sound like? You know what I mean? So to me, it's like, okay, this is my favorite like frequency ranges to accomplish that in this kind of taste and palette. So it's really an opinionated EQ curve plugin. Like it's very opinionated. It's like this is what I've like found.
A
to
bit
be,
like
really
God
cool.
Particle.
Yes, like how it saturates and stuff.
Because like you turning that dial up, and you're just getting more or less of Jason Joshua.
Basically. And
that's what he is.
For sure.
You know
And I've deep dived, you know me, I'm deep diving on that like on these plugins and stuff. And I remember I remade that plugin in Isotope Ozone. Because that's what
I watched your video.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're talking about.
We all knew.
That's what I was like, you know what, Devvon, I am never gonna do. Devvon has always got me, you know. I watched it because I did a video on it as well, and I was like, this guy is he's got more time, more detail. He's just doing it like
dialed in.
Because then you did the
I did the Orion one. Yeah.
I made my video and I uploaded it, and then I saw you made yours. I was like, fuck. Bro, he's knocked out of the park again.
Devvon works harder.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'll sit down, man, and I'll really like say, how can I want to explain the whole thing. So for me, it's like, even my philosophy with like reviews and stuff like that. For me, I was like, okay, how can I set myself apart? Like I could sit here and do reviews. I like on my podcast to give my opinion. But when it comes to like something that people are searching for, I said, what if I'm the guy that does just these breakdowns with these companies? I've even done it for, obviously, audio movers, where it's like, here's this product we have. I decide internally within my team, like, does this have value to the audience? Like, do we think this is really good? If it does pass that test, which a lot of companies don't, obviously, then we start to sit down and say, okay, well, how can we show them? We want to show them every parameter, every knob right. Like, every use case, we want them to hear it. And we'll sit down and like really formulate that entire like video. And then we break it down. And then it becomes, my philosophy is I want to be the visual manual for these products and plugins online. So I'm the manual. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Because your videos, the tutorial style videos, there's not an opinion on it.
No.
It's you breaking it down.
That's it.
And most other guys, including myself, because I can't help it, I put my opinion on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, because it just comes out.
Yeah,
and
it's natural.
I'm not editing that out, do you know what I mean? And obviously there's space for both.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? But like, that's a unique space, and being able to do that, like I don't think I could do that, because if I'm doing it and I like, especially when I review a plugin, I actually like it's the first time I'm using it is when I turn the camera on. Right. And that's like a thing that I'm trying to do. Right. And you will see it on my face.
Yeah, you'd be like,
I think that's bullshit.
I don't like that. And you know, more people are starting to ask me to potentially do that. And if more of my audience wants those like reviews.
You got the podcast though.
Yeah, but that's where I give it up. Like, I'll be like, UAD, I really just don't like your conversion, etc. And people are like, and I'll sit there and people will be like, oh, this is a sponsor. And I'm like, dude, I've said the truth about this company mad times. Like, I don't like this, etc. And then I'll have meetings with them. I'll talk to them. I'm like, yeah, I think this could be better. Like, it's not malicious or anything. It's just, if I feel that way, that's how I feel. One thing about people don't realize about me is, we can do sponsorships and stuff, but the minute a company comes out with something or does something I'm like, I don't agree with, I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm going to express that, you know, and that's it.
Yeah, that's important. And I think obviously doing that and keeping and being able to be consistent with that, hopefully like the companies will appreciate it and still come to you for that. Because like, it's like your opinion has true value, because when you see it all the time, not so much in audio, but like because audio people are so opinionated,
very opinionated.
But like other like industries, they lose their value because all they do is like just gas it up. Like phone reviewers, like the iPhone comes out and they're like,
right,
look how brilliant it is. It's got one extra camera.
Yeah, this is the best. Yeah, and it's like, well, I don't feel that way.
Love that video.
I feel like I love that video. I feel like our community is also way too smart for that. The audio community, and I always say this, I think we don't give I give them more credit than people give, as far as these people saying you're putting out bad info. If I'm not telling you, if we say something like super egregious and wrong, we're gonna get murdered in those comments. Like, audio engineers cannot help but to correct someone. So,
I get it on a daily basis.
Of course, people, you know, and I'm all for healthy discourse. Like, I'm very all for it because conversation is so needed. But then there could be a point where it gets disrespectful, and that's what I just don't tolerate. You know,
I think you do it in a fun way where you like, because when you do the podcast, you know, with your mates, and you all use different doors, and you all have like different, and you kind of take the, you know, you sort of take the mick out of each other a little bit. You know, where like you're taking the mick out of your mate because he doesn't like. If a plugin doesn't look good, he just closes
he's like,
it.
I can't use it. I'm like, bro, what?
I think that's really cool though. I love that because it's like, I've got friends that are like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like a me and Proton out of my friendship group are like the nerds, but we got loads of mates that like really couldn't care less.
Oh
and they're like, nah, I don't like that, or like or they just use this and it's like they ride for it for no particular reason.
Of course.
That was a question that I wanted to ask you, and I've been trying to think of like the best way of wording it because I didn't want to like upset you. But,
you won't upset me, bro. I'm cool, bro. If I can't, like, if I feel away, I am very honest. Like when it comes to stuff like that.
No, this is it's lighthearted, but like.
Why are your mixes so bad? No.
I'm like, yo, what project? Like, let me tell you something. Everything from 2022 to on. I'll be like, nah, not that one. That one, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah.
So with someone that's like so at the front of new technology, plugins, like you are a developer yourself, and you ride for Pro Tools, like you are a Pro Tools guy. What is the one functionality that if another door brought out, it would make you jump ship?
To be honest, I would jump. It wouldn't take much for me to, not saying it wouldn't take much for me to jump ship, because I literally talk to them all the time and tell them how much I'm like, I really hate that you did this. And I really hate this. I would love if you did more of this, except
Gaurav.
Yeah, I was just with Gaurav 2 days ago. And I was like, bro, what's happening? But like I said,
I feel for that man.
Oh my gosh. Like, yo, Gaurav, bro, all the love. Everybody, that's like, we call him the, what's the guy that runs the Avengers?
Yeah,
like,
we did.
What we call him? Oh my gosh, Samuel Jackson. What's his name?
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury of
we
the
did
audio.
The whole thing.
It was with us.
Yeah.
So I have these conversations with something like Avid and stuff, and I'll tell them like, hey, I don't. I wish that you paid more attention to this, or I'm looking for more of this. Like, I don't want to jump ship because I'm so comfy in this place. I've figured out all the ways around the things that are not there in order to make things work. Like, I can fly just as fast as any producer in Pro Tools. And it's because I've set up templates and I have to just use I've learned to use the tools I have. But as far as the thing to jump ship, to answer your question, I don't know, man. You know what made me jump ship? If it starts to get massively adopted.
Right.
If something else starts to get massively adopted where we're starting to share, like I can just share
you go into any room and it's there.
Yeah, and it's cool, then it's a wrap, because there's other DAWs that I feel like I cannot get the job done. I'll be honest with you, Studio One is probably the one DAW I'll probably switch to.
Oh, really?
Yep. Because it is the most familiar DAW that I found to Pro Tools that, I was making templates and stuff like that. And I remember first time I downloaded Studio One, I was making templates, I was like, I didn't read not one manual. That quick keyword, everything was pretty much the same, more as far as production wise. So in my head, I was like, dang, I just don't like their GUI. That's the only thing I'm not a fan of, just the GUI.
Do you make templates in like all the
DAWs?
All the DAWs.
Yeah, okay, so I have everything. I have Cubase, Studio One, FL. Recently, I got a team though of I got a guy or girl in every DAW that specializes in my company now. So I got a FL Studio guy, a Cubase guy, Ableton, because we have a help desk as well.
Cool. So then you can make the template and you can be like, convert that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things is like a bit of a, maybe this is obvious, but like guys like Jesse Ray Ernster and Jeff Braun, they both told me they were doing the same kind of thing, which was where they would ask for the demo, and they would also ask for the original session in the DAW.
Right.
And they'd be like, and if I don't have the plugin, I'll buy it.
Yep.
And they'd be like, if I'll open up FL Studio and I'll mix it in there.
Yeah.
Because they're like, and they'll listen to the demo because they're like, you want the demo, but like with, cleaned up, like with whistles, hitting. Yeah. You don't want something else.
Right. It's funny. So Jesse actually told me one time, because one time I was looking at my people that bought the plugin, and I just so happened to randomly see a ping, and I looked and I saw Jesse Ray Ernster buying the Rosetta EQ. And I was like, yo, what the heck? So I texted him, he was like, yeah, and he told me, I have to buy the plugin. And I was like, oh, that's so random, bro. So I know he does that, and because
it was already on.
It was on somebody's project, so he had to buy it. Right. So he was like, oh, I need the Rosetta EQ, so he went and bought it. It was just funny because
he bought it because it's the best plugin.
Yeah, it's the best plugin on earth, so that's why he bought it. He bought it because somebody had it on there, which I appreciate. I was like, oh, some high level, somebody, up there, because he's not taking just I know he has a high caliber of work that he has.
But he gets exposed to that then.
But I think that's such a, like if you could take a tip away from this, from him, and like I was like, okay, that's. you want to be one of the top guys. The top guys are opening up any door, they're opening up any plugin. They're going, what's this thing doing?
Right.
And that's why they're making it sound good. If you're going like, oh, I'm going to need the stems and I'm going to need, then
Right.
Don't say that too loud because all my clients are going to start messaging me now like, yo,
I'm going to send you FL Studio session. You figure it out.
Screw you.
My belief what it is, when some of my clients, and I mix more on the hobbyist side of things. Obviously, I don't have time to be a full-time mixer. I think that's like my retirement plan later in life. Education is like number one for me. But in the back of my mind, I say to myself, when I talk to a client, and I get a lot of clients on engineers, my engineer's profile, when I'm like hobby-wise, just taking a mix, and I'll tell them, hey, don't take off your effects. Don't take off that compression. I want you to leave all that stuff that you love and you've been listening for probably a year in your car. Leave that stuff there. Let me go and make it and enhance what you already love. Because I'll get some kids that'll send me, a dry session and I listen to the reference. I'm like, dog, like this is way different. I'm gonna spend more time just recreating your demo as opposed to like
Madness.
just
making it better.
I tell them all something. I'm like, have a little bit, like have confidence in yourself. This is what you love. Let's make it better. You know what I mean? And that's it. So I've been really pushing for that with kids. Some kids are like, no, I'm just gonna make it dry. Yada. I'm like, cool, no problem. I got you. Either way.
Is that like vocals or instrumental or everything?
Instrumentals, how you got things panned. Like I want what you already love in the door.
But maybe the vocals you might ask. I always say like, can you send them to me like wet and dry? Because sometimes they got a vibe going, but I'm like,
too much.
The EQ has not been, the reverb hasn't been EQ'd at all. Right. And that's what's making it sound like hella muddy.
There's a lot of mess in there. Yeah.
So what I say is send the session. So that's why Pro Tools, it's hard for me to jump because I'm like, listen, send me a Pro Tools session. And then I literally just have it, and I mix it in their session. I just put my stuff in and that'd be it.
I always think like the worst thing is like being on the artist side and I had someone mix something for me. And they said the very worst thing to me, which was they heard like a kind of like a reverb and they were kind of like, oh, I get it. It's kind of doing this. And I was like, no, this is my bass. I want it to. This is how I want it to sound. Right. Not like, oh yeah, it's kind of like a like plate kind of thing, and it's like no. Like
that's
I want that.
Sound.
Don't rip it out and be like, I've got a nicer plate that's EQ. No.
Right. Respect the artist. Respect the.
Yeah. I think that's something that I've actually learned very recently.
I'm sure
as an engineer.
Okay.
Like for a long time, I was like, I know best. Right.
Right.
And I would recreate, and the only time I would have trouble is when, like, obviously I hit a roadblock with the artist and they were, like, adamant about this one sound. Right. And I was being funny about it. Right. And then I learned that I was down, it wasn't, my choice. It was their music.
It's their music.
Yeah. And that my role is to be, like, a pane of glass.
That's
like, I'm in the way that you have to use me, you know what I mean, if you want this to sound brilliant. Right. But I need to be transparent and like open and you can get the mix.
But there's different roles, right? Because there's obviously like legendary engineers, and maybe you come to them and you
want their sound.
Yeah. If you're going and being like, oh wow, like Mixed by Ali is gonna mix my track, you kind of you might be.
Yeah, am I telling Mixed by Ali like, bro, you gotta use this reverb?
Question, man. Honestly, it could be like it's like I don't even feel right. Like Ali, honestly, like the kick, bro.
Make it, yeah.
Like, can I give Ali a recall? No.
Make it, just make it make me famous.
Make me famous, bro. Like tell people you love the record. I don't know. But I get what you're saying. It is a fine line. And I think that I've learned in my hobby side of just mixing records with people is to just get out of their way, man. And just, I'm really there to serve. And I'm really there to serve the record. And I know the best way I can serve them on the record is by taking what they already love and just putting my opinion on it as far as making it better, but staying so true into the essence of what they've already created.
And to get technical, if you're like sort of taking, say you're asking for the session and you're taking that stuff and you're taking the plug and you're doing the kind of the Jesse approach, shall we say? But then are you kind of like taking that into because you've got certain templated buses and things, right? So you're kind of taking that and then you're taking it into your flow. Is that how you're approaching things? Or
it's the other way around,
right? Okay.
So I have a session data file that has all my whole template in. Yeah. And so I'll open their session, I'll organize everything, kick, snare, color code, everything. Get the lay of the land. If I don't like where they put the mix bus. Some people put the mix bus at the bottom. I think that's so weird for me. I like my mix bus at the top. To each his own. That doesn't matter. But it's just a pet peeve. Like, I'm like, ew, like, stop. So I'll organize everything, and then I shift all AI and I'll import my session data from my thing and I'll bring in all my reverbs and all my little tools and all my little...
So like a layover.
Yes, exactly. My 4 Auxman technique, I'll bring that. Like I'll just bring in the weapons into their session.
I'm not going to lie, I totally disagree with the mix bus thing though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're one of those?
Because, dude, it's the last thing.
That's so weird to me.
It's the last thing. It's the thing that then it's out of your speakers. So it goes to the bottom. My mix template starts with the very first thing that I mix. Right?
Okay.
So it's kick, snare, drums.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way down.
Right.
And then I go mix bus.
That's weird to me.
No. The thing at the top is the demo.
So I have the mix bus, because that's like the holy grail. Lets me, you know what it is? From a gain staging standpoint, I just always want awareness of that top track. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just maybe Full Sail. This is just something that just innately just there. Then I'll have the reference.
Right.
Then I'll have the reference. Then I'll start kick, snare, drums, pad, drums. I was taught. This is great. This is nerding out audios. I was taught in a session. The hierarchy was, all your drums. So starting with the kick. Then after drums, we go bass.
Yep.
Then after bass, we go pads. Then after pads, we could do guitars and pianos and stuff. Then after that, I'll do sound effects like transitions, swoops and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go lead vocals. Then after lead vocals, we go background vocals. Then after background vocals is all time-based effects. So that's how I was raised, with it. Somebody out there is like, yo, I was raised the same way. Like,
I think for me, the way, because I do like a mentorship course, right?
Okay.
And the way I always teach my students is like, it's a combination of frequency order to priority.
Okay.
So this is how it's weird in my head. I just have it because it changes for every record, but it's like low frequency to high frequency down up until it gets to the vocals.
Interesting.
And then, so it's like the highs are at the end.
Right.
And unless it's like, okay, the main sample is a guitar and then there's a piano there, the guitar would go first.
Okay.
Because it's like, I'm mixing that as like dominant.
Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
And then like the pianos get tucked underneath.
It's kind of like, what's the important part of the track, right? Isn't
Yeah,
it?
but everything else is frequency.
There's that thing of like sitting and listening to a demo and being like, what is the thing they love about the song? What is like, whether it be the
primary
hook or be it the, what it might be. And sometimes you can fuck it up. I don't know if we're going to beat these or not. We haven't decided yet.
We've sworn so much
for short form, beep it. Long form, let it fly.
And then we need
my rule.
Yes, I got you.
Because my sort of soft rule is like, as the guest, if you swear, we're on. You know what I mean?
Right. If you swear, okay, we swear it.
Yeah. Okay.
I hear you though.
You know what I mean?
Yo, that's so funny. In a conversation, someone has to break the swear, Shane. Like seriously, I'm like that too. I won't swear. Like if we just in a new setting, I won't swear. Then once a guy say fuck off, I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So it's on. We're all adults here. I'm the same way.
I think it was me this episode.
Okay.
I think I broke it.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay, we'll find out. Tell us in the comments who broke the swear.
I swear to you.
Please.
Yeah. But it's that thing of like, because there's Jesse like split out Burna Boy last for me, and he was like really playing with the drums. There's these amazing clicks in there, and I was like, wow, I want to hear this this kind of crazy mix.
Right.
But of course he was like, no, but that's then you can't hear something else, right? And then that's not what the song is about.
Right.
That's not why they're giving it to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to know where you are in the process. You can't be kind of like, oh, I found something in here.
And
I'm going to boost it up now and be like, totally change the dynamic of the track.
For sure.
Yeah, and that was what a guy we're going to speak to, Ricky St. Hilaire, he was saying like that, where he would win mixes against other guys because he would like sit there and, okay, this is what you like.
That's the balance.
Right? This is what you like.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And I'm not going to be like, no, this will make it a hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And turn up your bongo. And it's like, no, that bongo was meant to be super low. You know what I mean? Like, I'm big on that. Like, I'll hear a bongo sound and sometimes I'll be like, let me listen to the reference. Because there's a little tiny little bongo that's happening.
Anywhere.
And I listen to that reference and I'm like, oh, it's not, I don't even hear it. So I go, I'm gonna make it a little bit more intelligible, but I'm not turning this up. Like it's gonna sit there, but I'm gonna just clean it up and get it out of the way. And then I'm gonna sit it there and that's it. I don't like to change their panning. Like I just like to stay and keep the integrity of the mix. Some things I'll make a decision, but like, let me see if that like kind of, this sounds so much better. Let me see. But for the most part, like a producer's bass, producer's kick, like certain things I'm very like, don't go crazy. Like, you know what I mean? They have something going.
I got a friend of mine, Sean D. He does 3 different versions.
This is cool. Yeah.
So
mixed versions?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he mixes for like Central C and stuff like that.
It's like, but for like a new client, right?
Yeah.
Like
So for a brand new client,
very smart.
He give them basically the reference but louder.
Right.
He then gives them the mix that he thinks that they'll like.
Right.
And then he gives them his mix.
Wow.
Like
I never
what
thought
he
about
likes.
that.
Go
Like,
for it.
Yeah, and like, you know, his mix would be like the first one he does, so doesn't listen to the reference, just totally it learns the song fresh, like as he brings in the instruments, and then then he'll go and do these other
reference, listen to the reference, making that better.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you learn a lot about the client like that, because you learn, can I get away with anything?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you learn their taste.
Right.
And also you set like a really high standard, because you're like, I'm giving you 3 fucking mixes.
I'm giving you something to choose from.
Yeah.
And we're gonna iron it out. Like you're gonna pick one, and we're gonna know exactly what direction you're going.
One of these is good.
Right.
And a lot of these, you know, the really big sort of mix engineers who are becoming kind of household names again, you know, this sort of generation, they are famous for working with like the same artist over and over again and building that relationship.
Yeah.
So it's like that. It's like, how do you build out relationship from kind of day dot, you know what I mean?
Right.
And frequently with big artists, I mean, Sean was saying that about Sench, was like, he'd rejected like 5 different mix engineers by this point. Wow. You know what I mean?
That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, because he really cares.
He's particular about what he wants. Yeah,
and the best artist, the top artist always will.
Yeah, like you can hear. I know, like, somebody mixing me is probably the toughest thing on earth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so some people are actually scared to even try to mix my vocals, you know, because it's just like, I know he hears this on another level, you know?
Man, that'd be intimidating.
My God.
You are like the internet critique.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
So I'll be like, but I'll give him a good note. Like, that's the thing, is like, don't be scared, because I'll give you a note. I'm like, yo, do me a favor, can you just slow the the release down a little bit? Because it's not the compression's not holding on my voice. I don't like the way it's like enveloping. Like, I'll give you a fire. You be like, bet. Slowly attack that. This guy knows exactly what he wants. So I'll be like, don't be afraid. Like, when I do a feature, like, for someone.
Playing live, we do this. We got to wrap up now, but playing live, we do the exact same thing where we'll be like, there's something at like 5K, you know what I mean? And the front of house guy's like, okay, maybe I'll try and do my job well today.
Yeah,
maybe I'll try and dial it in today.
Yeah,
you know
for sure. I'll tell you the frequency. I'm like, yo, this frequency's bothering me a lot. Can you just ease up? That's great. As opposed to me saying, something feels off. You're
Or just turn my vocals up. Like, dude,
it is. The snare is really quiet now. You're way above. So I very particular, know what I want, and know how to explain myself. Nice. You know when I want things, for sure.
Mate, that's a wrap.
Bro, honestly,
You already know,
man.
bro.
100.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
It's nice to link up in like your hometown.
Yeah, in the States. Heck yeah. You are, you was at NAMM. I don't know if you was last year. You didn't come last year.
No, I didn't come last year.
Okay.
We'll be there this year though.
Yeah.
Sure. Awesome. Okay. So I'll see you there. I'll be there too.
I was going to say, like, I mean, everyone watching this is already following you on YouTube.
I hope so. I hope so.
But go check out the plugins. Yeah.
You can go to helpmedevvon.com. If you want 15% off, you can just type in the word Audio Nerds and you can get 50% off the anything in my store right now. So helpmedevvon.com. And then the YouTube is Help Me Devvon, TikTok Help Me Devvon, Instagram Help Me Devvon, everything is Help Me Devvon.
Yeah. But you already all know that.
I hope you did. I hope you did. I'm humbly saying I hope you did. Because there's going to be that one comment be like, I don't know who that guy is.
And then he'll get like 50 comments trolling him saying,
then he'll
get off the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Get him.
But anyway, nice one. Cheers, bro.
Yeah, cheers,
Safe,
y'all.
man.
Cheers, fellas. Yep.